Hey guys, welcome back to Positivi-Tuesday, where we like to talk about all things positivity, love, and fun. If you don't already know, my name is Chelsea Dawn Khan, and this segment was inspired by Bailey Sarian and her need for a mental health break once a month, which I just think is so awesome. So I thought it would be so great to just make some videos to really help us all feel a bit better, especially now. I think we all need it, and to just spread some love and some positivity. So Positivi-Tuesday. Usually I would not have my makeup done. The goal is to be doing it while we talk about these things, but Rex and I have been super sick. I have been trying to film this all week, and I literally, it was like a good thing if we got different clothes on than what we did the day before, because we've just been really in it. So even just getting this makeup on today was like an accomplishment. So for me, consistency is very important. Maybe we'll talk about consistency next week. We'll see. But obviously there's times where you do need the break, but it's really important for me. I feel okay today to film. So I wanted to talk about the 5 love languages today. So I wore my little sweater with the hearts for you guys. And just bear with me. I have taken a lot of notes. So I'm going to be reading a lot today, actually. So if I'm looking down, please don't mind. I went on Instagram and asked everybody questions if they know what the love languages are and how they like to do each of the love languages. But before I get into that, I just wanted to talk really quickly. I was listening to the Armchair Expert podcast with Dax Shepard and Prince Harry, and they said something very interesting in it, and it was based off of a New York Times article by Adam Grant, and they were basically just talking about the stage of COVID that we are in right now, and said that basically we're in a stage of languish, and we are starting to feel really lonely and moving out of the physical stage of fear, where if you remember in the beginning, everyone was like, oh my God, what's happening? We're not allowed to leave the house. What is this virus? And everybody was just panicking. And I think a lot of people existed in that stage for a very long time. And now we're shifting into more of an emotional stage where we kind of understand more so what is going on. And they said that basically the languish stage is that we're in between flourishing and depression, and you just feel flat. And I think that's very legit. From what I've heard from most people that I talk to, we're all just kind of feeling blah, and what's happening and what's going to be the outcome of this and what's going to be the new normal, and nobody knows, right? And it is just feeling very blah. You're great, cool, here's another Tuesday, they're all going to be the same again. And especially, I know some places are opening up, but where I am in Canada, we're still very locked down. So it's very much we can't even go to eat. It literally is here's another day that looked exactly like the last one, that looked exactly like the last one, that looked exactly like the last one. Also said that you might feel like you're lacking energy, motivation, a will, or momentum because we don't know what happens next. If you feel that, me too. But it's our responsibility to take care of our mental health and to make sure that we're doing okay, and to make sure that we're feeding ourselves with positivity so that we can move forward, not just feeling meh. Because who wants to feel that every day? I don't. It's easy to sit in it. I can understand and appreciate that. It's very easy to sit in it because it takes more energy to pull yourself out and find some sort of positivity or some sort of hope for the future. But just know that everything happens exactly the way it's meant to. Everything happens for a reason. At least for myself, that gives me a lot of peace. If you don't know what the definition of languish is, because I didn't, this was the first time this was the first time I heard this word on this podcast. So I looked up the definition just in case you're like me. And the definition of languish is of a person or living thing, lose or lack vitality, grow weak or feeble. And then think about what they just said about us being in the state of languish. And the second one is to suffer from being forced to remain in an unpleasant place or situation. I'm pretty sure that's what we're feeling. So I just thought that I would share that with you because I do have a lot of people just like asking me like, what is going on? Like, why am I feeling this way? Even just like having, COVID fatigue, that's the word. That was so hard to find in my brain. But it's a legit thing where we're all just, it's kind of the same, COVID fatigue and languish. We're all just kind of feeling like, okay, and like what next, you know? So today I wanted to talk about the 5 love languages because I feel like that is a great way to kind of pick ourselves up. 5 love languages are important all the time because it's how we show people love. But what's important to know, you can take the test for it. It's amazing. You love people in your own love language. So sometimes you might feel like you're loving somebody in the way that they need, when in reality, you're loving them in the way in which you need to be loved. So love languages are very important. There's a lot to know. I'm not going to touch on everything today because this video would be so long, but it's just important to really kind of learn them, learn little things that you can do and try figure out what, not just your partner, but what your friends' love languages are, what your coworkers' love languages are, what your family's love languages are, like people who are important to you, who you want to make feel special and loved, figure out what they are so that you can start loving them in the way in which they need instead of in the way in which you need. So let's really dive into this. So if you don't already know, the 5 love languages are quality time, giving gifts, acts of service, words of affirmation, and then physical touch. So as I said before, I went on my Instagram, I asked a question of how do you guys like to do, I don't know how to say it better, how do you like to do love languages? I have written down all of the responses and we're just going to kind of go through it. And please just know that this is like just the tip of the iceberg. There's always way more ways. Please do comment down below if there are ways that you want to share, because then people can always read through the comments and learn more ways to do the love languages too. So for quality time, I had some responses for during COVID and then some for not during. So not during COVID is to go to happy hour, which also during COVID, you could just make happy hour at home if you're in a situation where you're living together or where you're allowed to go to each other's houses now. To make sure to put work away when it's not time to work, which is amazing because we can all get so, even not just work, but just being on our devices all the time, it can get so easy to just be like doing it, you know, and you think that you're sitting beside this person, so you're having quality time, but that's not actually, just being beside somebody is not quality time. That's 2 very different things. Another one was doing an activity you enjoy other than TV or a movie, which again, kind of what I was just saying before, it's not just sitting beside each other. It's really being able to enjoy time together and share in something together. And spending time laughing and having eye contact. And then during COVID is FaceTime calls and socially distanced coffees Totally. I think everyone has really started to rely on like FaceTime and Zoom, which is like, thankfully, this is all happening now when we have technology. Could you imagine if it was when we didn't, how extremely isolating it would be? Another one was to leave phones upstairs and play cards or have movie nights with all the fixings, aka gas station snacks. I love that. Have a good COVID pod squad bubble and commit to just seeing them if we could, which I know a lot of people have been doing and it's been working great for them. And then to download game apps that you can play online with other people, with like your friends and family from a distance. I know a lot of people have been doing that and it's really great, and it allows you to kind of interact and have some fun with each other even when you can't physically be together. And then the next love language that we'll touch on is gift giving. So bake or make food to give to pretty much anybody. And if you don't live with them, you can always drive it to their house and leave it on their doorstep. Make crafts to give. Again, drive it on over. Search for special items you know people will love. Find gifts with sentimental value. Gift items that will make the receiver's life easier. And little deliveries, snail mail. I love thrifting little gifts, and I always wrap gifts specially. And then, which, oh my goodness, I'm such a gift wrap person. Like, I feel like half the excitement of, well, I love giving a gift, but like, it's so exciting to wrap it nicely too and make it look so pretty and like personalized, and pick wrapping that's the colors that they like, and just like go that extra mile to really make them feel special. I love that too. And then even you can like order food to people's houses, anything like that. Like, thank goodness for all these delivery apps and things now that we can use. Like, that's such a blessing to be able to have all of that right now. Especially gift giving can be something that's so personalized, because you can really, especially the deeper that you know somebody, the more that you're going to be able to give them a really amazing gift that they're just really going to love. If it's like an inside joke maybe that you share, that you can look at this gift and always think of that person. And it doesn't have to be huge things. Like, it doesn't have to be the world's most expensive gift. It's not always the dollar amount that counts. It's more the thought and the intention and the effort that's been put in, that I think is what really makes the gift special and unique and amazing. The next love language is acts of service. For acts of service, things that were written in, I love this. My boyfriend carries my patio plants in and out until the weather is warm enough to stay out. And let me tell you, I know who sent this to me, and she has a lot of plants. So this is a lot of carrying in and out, in and out, in and out, especially where we live, where the weather is like amazing, and then it's like winter, and then it's like amazing, and then it's disgusting. Like, that's a lot. And then I like to meal prep. So my boyfriend has dinner while I'm working out of town, which, like, how special is that? Because there's nothing better than a home cooked meal. Like, I don't know if you guys feel that way too, but it's just the best. So to be able to have that when your partner is out of town is extra amazing and special. I bake because my boyfriend likes it. He also helps with projects around the house that I want to do. So that's amazing, because then they're both doing it for each other. Like, hey, you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. However, I should say that that's not the only reason you should do it, is because you're going to get something out of it. But I just love that they have that where they can help each other with things, because they're wanting to show love and act loving and kind to each other. To do errands for others, such as groceries, and drop them at their front door, or to do yard maintenance like mowing lawns, or in the winter, snow removal, anything like that, especially if it's maybe right now during COVID, somebody who maybe they have to quarantine and can't leave their house, or maybe they have health problems. Just to be able to do something for them that's going to make their life a lot easier is such an amazing thing. And then the next love language is words of affirmation, which I love. I'm such a words of affirmation girl. So COVID made me realize, oops. COVID made me really want to tell people what they meant to me. Conversations were so valuable because we need connection but couldn't be close, which is so true. So like, I never even thought of that until this comment, but like that is actually such a good way to be able to help you feel close to people, is by just telling them extra, like the things that you love about them or anything like that that's really going to grow that bond and keep it strong. Another one was to hold signs up outside of people's windows, to call, to text, to FaceTime, to direct message, or even snail mail, which could be super kind of fun, like to have a pen pal, even if it's like your best friend. What if you just pen palled them and put stuff in the snail mail, and instead of like texting it, what if you just like wrote them really cute letters? I think that would be fun. That's cute. That's like old school. I love that. Oh, well, one of my friends, her parents literally started dating way back in the day over like writing each other letters in the mail. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correct, they lived in different provinces at the time. And so it literally was just waiting for each other's letters in the mail and then like getting them and being like, oh, look at this letter. I think that's so cute. I just love it. There's such something to be said about that. So like maybe we should all get a little pen pal. Another one was to tell people the things you love and admire about them. And then also to speak words of positivity and life into people instead of always the negative, which I think is so easy. We're so trained on such a regular basis to just talk about the things that we don't like or that we don't appreciate or that scare us or blah, blah. And we forget to really speak the things that we do love, because when you start doing that, you'll also start receiving more of it. And I think that we all know that when you just hear all this like garbage spewed at you all the time, you get really sick of it really fast. And it does really start to affect your mental state. So the more that we can focus on saying words of love and kindness, I think that's a great way to really start to shift like literally the world. Not to be Miss America and we want world peace, which we do, but like it's not just enough to say it. So what actions can we take to actually start doing it? So that's like a very small one, but a very important one. And then the last love language that we have is physical touch, which I love. So I know a lot of people probably think physical touch is just like that, you know, but it's not. Giving a back rub or massage, holding hands, cuddling or sitting close to somebody, playing with somebody's hair. Oh. So I used to be a hairstylist, so I'm always touching everybody's hair. And when you're a hairstylist and you actually go to get your hair done, usually like your friend or your coworker is doing it, and you're just so sick of doing hair by the time you're doing your friends or someone's that you're like, okay, yeah, let's just do this. Like, I'm not really going to give you like the full massage or stuff like that because we're all just like, whatever. Like, can we just do this? You know, but you don't realize that you really miss out on that like full experience. So now when people play with my hair, I'm always like, oh my God, don't stop, like do it again, please. It just feels so amazing. Oh. Another person said just touching somebody as you walk by them, just to like give that quick like, hey, I'm here, I'm noticing you. Also, so I wanted to add this one. So there are a few hospitals that I saw posting that because people can't have friends and family members in the hospital with them, what they're doing to help their patients feel like they have people close and feel that physical touch and not feel so extremely isolated and lonely, is that they would take their hand gloves and they would fill them with warm water, and then they would tie them up, and then they would tie the fingertips as well so that the gloves were like this full of water, and then they would place the patient's hand into the glove so that it felt like they had somebody holding their hand. And I think that's so amazing that they're actually taking the time to do that and having the awareness that like we all need that. I thought even if you were like, potentially if you're still in a lockdown situation and you live alone and you're not able to see anybody, you could even fill a glove, I thought, with pudding, because like it's a bit it's a bit heavier and it'll get warm from the body heat. So I thought like fill a glove with pudding and then tie it on like a stick. And then you could put like a hand mitt, like those like finger ones, over top of it so it's not sticky. Or you could just put lotion on it or something and then like rub on your body with it, and then it will feel like somebody else is touching you. I know that sounds so silly to do, but legitimately, like, desperate times call for desperate measures, and I actually really feel like it could be very helpful. So that was my personal one that I wanted to add for that, just because it makes me happy. The last thing that I wanted to talk about is I really want to be able to feature people who do kind things out of the goodness of their heart, because I feel like in the world that we live in, people who act crazy are really rewarded, and those are the kind of things that go viral and that people really pay attention to, and we've been trained by the media to focus on those type of things. We don't actually praise the people who are kind, and I want to change that. So whenever people do, and also I feel like a lot of the time people will do kind things but with a motive, and then it makes them feel like, oh, look at me, I'm so amazing, like I'm the best person, look how kind I was, I did this act and I filmed it and then I put it out so that everyone could praise me and say how kind I am. And I don't really like that. Like, there's a time and a place maybe, but for the most part, if it's genuine, just do it. Just do it because you're trying to be kind and you're trying to make somebody's day. So the person who I wanted to showcase today for their extreme kindness is one of my husband's friends. His name is DJ Alize. And if you watched my video last week, if you didn't, please do. If you watched last week, you learned how awful I am with technology. And after I posted my first video, he took the time to go out of his way to message me and let me know that the link I had on my social media for my YouTube didn't work, and really talked me through how I can make it work, because like that's how bad I am, and also the importance of a few other things that I could be doing. And like, guys, I really mean, like, I've met him once for like half a minute. There's no reason he had to do this, but because he is a kind and a nice and a good person, he did. So I'm going to link all of his info before. He is an amazing DJ. You guys have to make sure to check him out. Thank you so much for taking the time to really walk me through that. I appreciate it more than you know. As per always, guys, thank you so much for watching along with me and just having this talk about the 5 love languages and the importance of why we need to be practicing them. If you have not liked and subscribed and click the bell button, please do it like now, because if you're watching this, we're now friends. And I know that you're going to want to come back to see more videos on how to spread more love and positivity. And if you're just down for a good time, and like, let me tell you, usually I'll be more fun than this, but I'm just a bit under the weather. This is just as much energy as I've got for the day, so please forgive me. But make sure to like, subscribe, and click the bell because we will be back again with another episode of Positivi-Tuesday. And I love you all so much.